and welcome to Bless Their Yap. I'm your Reverend host, Olivia. Join me and my patron saint, Marianne, as we dive each week into the Gen Z holy texts, a notes app. Each week, we are tasked to write down topics in our notes app, and then we yap. What you got for me, Mary? You kind of like gave me a little tidbit about it
Yeah.
earlier.
So earlier this week, we had like a conversation between our husbands and then ourselves about, I guess I'll go into the topics. Are immigrants extra susceptible to hyperconsumerism, or is anyone raised in a middle class or lower middle class have a trauma response to not being able to engage in consumerism? And this is specifically for like a US Canada lens. So I don't know what's going on in other parts of the world. I can only focus on one thing at a time. So I'm kind of interested to see how that works out in this side of the world or this part of the world. So I did some research about it, and interestingly, immigrants do have like a different consumer pattern than like people who are like far away from having immigrant families who are born in a country and have stayed there for a long time
Mhm.
than they have. But it's not that different. So I guess in the conversation, my argument was like, I don't think it's necessarily like an immigrant specific issue, although I do think it would. The research that I saw didn't actually go into like the specific question that I was asking. So if I ever wanted to do like an economics master's, then I could maybe do that. But um the research that I saw kind of dealt with like what specifically they're buying instead of like how much are they buying comparatively to like others. So for my thing, and like generally I feel like, and this is anecdotal, but generally I feel like if you grow up or are raised in like lower middle class type of like environment, I feel like as you get older and have more disposable income, it's easier to fall into a trap of like being very consumerist. Because then you feel like, oh my gosh, I have all this extra money to like, buy presents for people or like buy presents for myself. I wasn't able to have this when I was younger. I fall into it too because I didn't grow up in like a super like wealthy household. I was like lower to middle class. So I was, it was difficult for me to like once I got like an adult job and like started making my own money to like not take advantage of the money that I was making.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how I don't know, maybe you can give us some more details about what you think about the conversation, but I feel like when you have access to disposable income that is kind of unprecedented, it's easy for you to keep thinking things like, oh, like, oh, I can afford that now. So you get into like this, forget what the actual term is, but it's almost like this wealth trap where,
Mhm.
like when your income grows, so do your expenses. So you don't actually like proportionally make that much more than you would have. Like less of it is going to savings and
Yeah.
more of it is going to expenses, which on some level makes sense, right? Like if you, like instead of buying the one ply toilet paper, you get to buy two ply now. Like, woohoo. It's interesting how, I guess in the US and Canada, consumerism is definitely like very, very prevalent, especially, Christmas just happened. Um, People very much, I think they like to give gifts. They also expect gifts, a lot of the time. So I feel like people are more, s- I guess, susceptible to spending when it's not necessary to spend. But any thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I do not come from an immigrant family, so like that's I don't know. And if like our listeners would like to kind of chime in for that, like I think that'd be really helpful.
Mm,
Um, I do also wonder though, so specifically a reason we started talking about this was a conversation that we had with our husbands over text. And my husband's parents are both immigrants. One of them is from Canada, the other is from Romania. And I feel like his mom, who's Canadian, I think she doesn't have that mentality. Like you like it's like a so I wonder if it's almost like a certain type of image. Nah, that sounds bad.
hmm,
Like I wonder if it's like where you're from. Like if you're from like Romania, I think there was more because he moved in I want to say the 70s and I don't
yeah.
I don't know the economic situation of Romania in the '70s. I just don't imagine it's good.
Yeah.
And I do wonder if there's um sort of that, like, okay, like, we need to, like, hold on to wealth, and for
Yeah.
him, a lot of it is, like, buying really cheap things, but constantly buying them. He really likes,
Mm.
Nellis auction, for example, and Micah got into it too for a little bit because he was like, "Oh, this is like a game, this is really fun." And
Slippery slope.
yeah, and it's a really slippery slope, and for my father-in-law, it was like, he was kind of like it was kind of like a sunk cost fallacy, I think, or a different type of fallacy where he was kind of, like, convincing himself that he's saving money,
Mhm.
even though he's, like, spending much more because it's not, like, a high dollar amount upfront. Um, and my mother-in-law does not have that. She's, like that's just not, like, an issue that she has. She likes nice things, but, like, she doesn't, like, have that, like, same spending energy, and neither do her parents, like and I do think his parents have that,
Mhm.
my father-in-law's parents, and so I do wonder if it's also, like, where you because I mean, I think if you immigrate from Canada to the US, you're kind of just moving, like it's essentially just moving a state.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
not to be, like,
it's very similar, like,
yeah,
obviously, there are differences,
yeah.
but, like, culturally, aside from the guns stuff, it's very similar.
Yeah, and I think also, like, there's not stigma and this is also again, like, I'm not an immigrant, and I don't wanna, like, take on anything that's, like, not, like, my story or, like, I don't wanna
Mhm.
speak for anybody, so, like, obviously, listeners, like, interject if you feel like I'm wrong or Marianne or whatever. I also feel like culturally, there's a stigma with being an immigrant, especially in the US,
Mhm.
especially if you are from a country that is not white.
Yeah.
Um, and I think with I think with my with my husband's grandparents and my father-in-law, I think it's coming from Romania. So you're coming from a country that, like, realistically not a lot of Americans know about, at a time that I'm sure was very difficult to, like, come over,
Yeah.
into America. And yeah, and I feel like there's a lot of that because I think we see it also a lot with, like, hype culture and, like, grind culture. I think I'm really interested and I might talk about this in a later podcast episode about how, like, I feel like this generation especially, and maybe this generation of immigrants could be part of this. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling.
No, you're
But,
good.
like, how there's such, like, a pressure on money, and I don't know if it's social media, I don't know if it's because non-immigrant families also grew up during like, that are in our generation grew up with the 2008 recession, in
Mhm.
America. I don't know if that affected Canada, did it?
Not as strongly as the
Okay.
States. It
It
did, but not as
yeah,
strongly.
it really affected America very hard. And I know a lot of families got I think a lot of kids kind of got that, like, trauma response of seeing their parents freak out about money, and thus then they freaked out about money. There's a very
Yeah.
similar phenomenon with, older people, like baby boomers that are children of people that survived in the Great Depression or were very young children in the Great Depression. In the Great Depression, there wasn't a lot of food, there wasn't a lot of jobs, people were really, like, scrounging, and I had a neighbor who was 102 when she died, and
Wow.
she was very little during the Great Depression, but she kept every canned food, even if it was, like, 10 years expired. She just, like, physically couldn't let it go because she lived in a time when there wasn't a lot of food, and so
Like
that's kind of where I
scarcity.
think the shopping thing comes from, is, like, if I have this now, 1, I can prove something to people that maybe don't think I'm worth a lot. I can kind of, like,
Mm.
show them up by having nice stuff or even having a lot of not nice stuff, but it seems like I have money. I'm
Right.
tricking myself into saving money some way, or it's like a, "I need this now." What do you think?
Yeah.
I feel like I talked a lot.
Yeah, I think, like, on that point, like, I get how with immigrants specifically, you almost do have something to prove. Like, as an immigrant myself, I felt that kind of my whole life where, it was almost embarrassing to not have, the latest, Tamagotchi or like, or any Tamagotchi or like the latest iPhone or things like that. And it was definitely a mark of your class, your like like whether you belong or not if you had all of these things. And obviously they were immigrants with all of this stuff already, but like that's why I think it's more of a class issue because when you're
Yeah.
not a part of like the in crowd, you feel like you have to like like get everything that they have as well. This is why I do think like immigrants like probably feel it more. More generally, this like idea does apply to like anybody in like a lower class. I
Yeah,
think
I
like
do agree.
being having like a shopping addiction, like, aside from, the dopamine effects that you get from it, like, it's just like an addiction, right?
Yeah.
You chase something that you think will make you happy, and then, when it doesn't, you wanna chase the other thing, and it's almost the thrill of the chase too, like, especially when it comes to, like, auctions or, like, Facebook Marketplace or things like that, like, it's not that necessarily those things are bad, all of those things are good in moderation, but when you get to, like, addiction territory or when you're purchasing something for the sake of purchasing something, and not necessarily getting use out of it or, basically way like 2 weeks
Yeah.
later. It's not there was no purpose behind that buy, and so you lost money even though you felt good buying it in the first place.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
definitely. Definitely, and I think that is like, I agree with you. I do think I think it's more of a class issue, which obviously class intersects with all that stuff, like,
Yeah,
it's not
and
like a
isolated.
one-to-one, yeah, a binary, 'cause yeah, I do think, like I mean, like, I'm very fortunate where, like, I grew up in, like, a middle class home, and, like, I was, like, very able to, like, have a lot of stuff, that I wanted, and but I do think that, like, even I still had moments where I was like, "Oh, like, I don't have, like, this really expensive makeup palette, right? Or I don't have the latest
Mhm.
iPhone, or I don't have, like, brand new, like, Adidas Sambas or whatever."
Yeah.
And that always, like I think it's universal to kind of have that, and I think it's getting worse with the internet,
Oh,
unfortunately.
100%. 100%.
Because we talked about this in our last episode where I talked about perfume TikTok and how perfume TikTok is interesting. But, like, in that last episode, I talked about how there's sort of this weird wealth flex on perfume TikTok by buying tons and tons of perfumes because perfumes are a luxury if you really think about it. Most of them don't cost under, like, $50.
Mhm.
Um, and obviously these are influencers, they have, like, discount codes, whatever, whatever, whatever. I'm not trying to, like I don't wanna, be too hard on people that are doing their jobs, but I do think
Right.
that there is, like, a wealth flex happening, and I think it's something that's been going on the internet for a while and that I kind of thought was dead, um, when COVID happened. I don't know, how do you feel about that?
I think, I don't think it's ever died. I think
Yeah.
that, like, during COVID, there was, like, a ton of stimulus, at least in Canada and the States, that, like,
Yeah.
was injected into society to keep up that consumption, right? So, we had a ton of extra money that we thought we weren't gonna have because everybody was, like, losing their jobs or, like, like, things are happening outside of our control that made us not be able to, like, purchase things. But then we got this extra money and, we're basically incentivized to, like, purchase all these things, and I think brands capitalized on that. I think like, TikTok really, like, popped off during COVID.
Yeah.
So, like, influencers, brands in general, like, mainstream brands, even, like, little creators of, like, whatever, like, YouTuber or wherever you were at, like, they were like, everybody was it felt like at least everybody my age, like, in our generation, felt like they were on the internet at that time. So, it
Yeah.
was the best time to, like, get ads and sponsored posts and all these things to begin purchasing all of this stuff with the, like, money that it's like girl math free money that isn't yours coming from
I
the
know.
government, why not,
Love girl
right?
math.
Um, but, I think, like, that's the thing about, like, influencers as a monoculture and brands as a monoculture, like, I think brands is a little bit more insidious in terms of, like, companies because their entire goal and so influencers as well, their entire goal is to get you to purchase what they're selling.
Yeah.
So when they say I mean, we've brought this up before, but when they say, like, "Walk, don't run," like, when they create this scarcity mindset of, like things of products, then people feel like they need to be in order to be a part of the in crowd, in order to be cool or look rich or do whatever, then they must have this next product. I
I
also feel like this applies to like the clean girl aesthetic, the like Pilates princess aesthetic, like even this new, like I don't know if you've seen it, but I've seen like, oh, Pilates princess done. Like that's not no longer a thing. It's now like back to like the I don't know, I forget what it's called. But basically a person like the early 2000s, like you do
oh,
coke
yeah, no,
and
like the
then you like
heroin chic.
cigarette girl.
Yeah,
Yeah, the heroin chic. Yeah, yeah.
indices. I used to wear them.
Exactly, exactly. So, like, now it's like, okay, that trend is over. Now you have to
Yeah,
buy a whole new, like,
wardrobe, essentially, like,
wardrobe
new
in
makeup,
order for you to, like,
new
be a part of
thing.
the crowd. Exactly.
Yeah, no, I totally seen that. Clean Girl's really interesting to me too, 'cause,
That's
I'm
me.
I'm not on Pilates Princess TikTok because
Also me.
I want to do Pilates. I really like Pilates, but I don't. And I'm obviously, but judging by, like, my background, I'm not really into, like, clean girl aesthetics, shall we? No, but I think that's also really interesting because, like, that is also, like, I think Pilates princess, clean girl aesthetic is something that, like, can only kind of come about TikTok because in,
Mhm.
like, and, like, the internet and internet consumerism, because, like, I think, like, 20 years ago, that would've just been, like, a normal person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there was, like, a workout culture, obviously, but it wasn't, like, so put together. There was a
Yeah.
type you would've just called it, like, a basic white woman or whatever, right? Like, 20 years ago or 10 years ago. You wouldn't have had, like, a cutesy name for it, you know what I mean? And really, it's a huge problem with, like, how people are I have a hard time with, like, judging, like, people trying, like, these trends that are, like, names like Coquette or, like, Indie Sleaze or even, like, Clean Girl, because I do think, like, part of style is, like, as someone that, like, takes on a lot of different, like, inspirations for my style, not today, obviously, um but, like, I feel like you should get to try several different things and, like, try new things, but the problem is that it's, like, you have to, like, overhaul every time,
Yeah.
and I think that's a really big problem, is people are getting rid of entire things of wardrobe once it's no longer a TikTok trend and rebuying from Shein something new.
Yeah, and I mean, our generation tying this back to, like, the whole, like, hyper consumerism, is it, like, just an immigrant problem? Is it, like, a class problem? When you are our generation is the least wealthy generation from all the ones that came in previously, right? Yet we're the ones who buy the most. Like, we have so much debt that people go into in order to purchase, like, all of these things. The exact, like, products of which they're buying, I'm not entirely sure. I don't know what, like, that pie chart would look like, but,
Mhm.
like, regardless, like, aside when we're putting aside, like, medical and school debt that's, like, in the US and, like, that's less of a problem here, so yay,
Aw.
Canada. We love Canada. But, like, when we're putting aside that, we still have a lot of, like, credit card debt that, our generation goes into from, like, purchasing all of these things. And I think, like, is it, like, curiously, is it from, seeing our families go through, like, the 2008 recession or, like, like, having COVID affect, like, maybe your family went through, um what's it called? Like, your parents lost jobs or
Yeah,
something, and, a
pandemic.
lot of kids in high school at the time or even in university, like, maybe their school was, like, partly funded by their parents, and then they suddenly
Yeah,
weren't
and they
able to do it,
can't.
so exactly, so, yeah, it's just an interesting I don't think there's, like, necessarily an answer to this, again, because, the research that I did, on, like, research that's already out there, they don't really tend to answer this question, so it's curious,
Mhm.
like, I'm curious to know what any viewers that are out there, think. Feel free to, like,
Yeah, I
say
would really
something in the netherverse of, like, what they think about this.
I really wanna know too, 'cause I feel like the answer is that it's a combination of things, and
Mhm.
maybe, like, spending is just, like, needing to overspend to prove something is, like, something that we've had since, like, the beginning of, like, having money. Like,
Yeah.
like, caveman had more nuts than the other caveman, maybe it's something very innate with us as we created class cultures, and, like, other forms of oppression. So I would really like to know because I think that's really
Yeah.
interesting, and that's a really great topic, man.
Thank you.
You're
What's
so
your topic?
so my topic's a lot stupider.
See,
We
this
are
is the
going
duality
from
of
such a
man, and
high
we love to yap about both things.
no, we're going like, it's always embarrassing when, like, you go and it's so smart, and it's like, "Anyway, back
I've
to"
had my stupid topics. I've had my stupid topics.
You've not. All your talk is been
Yes, I have. I'm pretty sure last one we talked about, the secret lives of Mormon wives,
no,
so
that was really good. I thought that was very insightful into how religion can oppress women and how people deal with religion personally. Don't talk bad about yourself. Anyway, my topic is I am on I'm on a 2-month no buy, and because I notice, like, I am somebody I like to shop and I like to spend money, and usually it's, like, thrifting. Very rarely do I, like, go to, like, the mall or anything and, like, buy something. Usually it's, like, Ulta or, like, Sephora that I'm gonna, like, put out more bigger, like, loads of, like, coin. But I was like, I'm going to the thrift store, like, a lot, and I feel like that's really weird, which is fine. Like, I like thrifting, and I've always liked thrifting. Like, that's been a core part of, like, my personality for, like, 10 years. And my topic is Depop because I I haven't deleted Depop, but I have removed it from, like, my screen's, like,
yes.
home thing,
Mhm.
and I feel like I know there's a lot of opinions on Depop and Depop resellers online,
I don't know
and
anything about
you
Depop, so
don't? Oh my god.
no, you can explain.
This is great. So Depop is a reselling app, kind of like Mercari or eBay or Poshmark. It's very heavily, I would say, marketed towards Gen Z. It's like usually the promotional videos are very cutesy, very Gen Z. I think Gen Z probably uses it the most. I have not looked into
Mm,
the demographics. Don't quote me. But that just feels correct for me to say out of all, like, the reselling apps. It's primarily centered around clothes. There can be handmade items or, like, accessories and stuff like that, but there's not usually, like, furniture on Depop. And it's kind of infamous online for sparking Depop resellers who are typically Gen Z, typically female, I would say, maybe sometimes male, and they're kind of known as, like, the Depop micro trend final bosses. I don't know, have you seen that trend on TikTok, Mare? So, they're, like, people who go into thrift stores, and they're usually wearing, like, kind of all the micro trends is sort of the TikTok joke of it.
uh,
So they'll have, like, I don't even know what the micro trends are right now, and I feel really stupid. Tabby shoes, which I can't say because I have tabbies, and I love them. Um
are bows still a thing?
I think bows are still a
Or
thing.
is that
I
gone?
think bows are great.
I
We'll get into bows.
love bows.
I love
I'm
bows.
really glad we're bringing back the 2012
I
bows.
know, and I
So
don't like I like the, little, like, cunty ribbon. I think that's great. I don't understand what our hatred for bows are. I wish I had long hair so I could wear more bows. I love them. But yeah, so it's like bows or, like, bloomer shorts or, like, funky
Mhm,
tights, and, like, people hate resellers because they blame them for why Goodwill and other thrift stores are really driving up their prices because they're claiming that, like, "Oh, like, thrift stores have caught on that people are not just buying this to have stuff, they're
mhm.
bulk buying to then resell for,
Oh,
like,
to
twice
resell?
the price." And I think that's
Interesting.
half true. I have a lot of opinions on Depop, actually. I think it's both really good and really bad. I think it's really bad because I do think it causes a lot of people to, like, bulk buy items that they don't need, that don't fit them, and take them away from people that actually need clothes from thrift stores.
Mhm,
But I have worked at thrift stores, including big chain thrift stores, during the height of Depop, and I know for a fact that is like, they are not considering it. They do, like, they will tell customers, like, "Why are your prices so expensive?" "Oh, it's because people sell online." And or, like,
oh,
now they say it's, like, tariffs or inflation or whatever, but that was
mhm,
kind of a big one. Um, but it's definitely just because they know that people are gonna blame the Depop reseller, and, like, they kinda get away with it. And I also feel really bad because usually what I've seen, because I follow a couple Depop resellers or people that sell on Depop that are also, like, just TikTok creators or, like, influencers is like, yeah, it's their job, but it's kinda like their side hustle. You know what I mean? And they're very young, like, they're kind of in their 20s, if not, like, younger. And I just like, there's a part of me that's like, "Oh," like, I don't think what you're doing is good. I don't think what you're doing is a net positive, but I also don't think you're the villain in this situation entirely either. Does that
Right,
make sense?
right. No, I think that makes sense. I feel like with reselling in general, I feel like the reason people are doing it is because they can't sustain themselves on a
Yeah,
single income, right?
yeah.
The whole thing about like the hustle culture can be spoken about in a later episode, but like the
Oh, I
whole
would
thing
love to talk
about
about
like
this with you.
having a side hustle is because we aren't able to sustain ourselves on the one income,
Oh,
like, especially in the US where you also have to pay for, like, health insurance and, like, student loans and, like, all these things, that, like, our generation is very much, like, I feel like a lot of our generation went to university or to college of some sort, so because we were told to. But, it's interesting that people, they know probably that what they're doing is kind of scummy, and
yeah,
yet they do it anyways because they're like, "Okay, well, I need this money," or like,
yeah.
"If people are willing to pay for it, then why not?" Which is the mentality of, like, corporations as well. It's like, if people are willing to pay for something,
Yeah, if they're gonna pay for
and
it,
we
they're
capture
gonna
that,
pay
they're
for it. And also, like, a big critique of Depop is people charging a lot of money, which is true. People are charging way too much, and
Mhm.
I like, pretty much my entire outfit right now, except for my pants, which are my little brother's pants, is from Depop, actually. Like, I got this shirt from Depop, I got this necklace from Depop, and I do think it's too expensive for to be a thrift app, truly. Um, how which is it's marketed as. However, and I do think some people like because another issue I have with specific sellers is taking items that are not vintage and claiming that they are
Ah,
because they look like they're like it's like a Shein top that looks like it could be
right,
from the early 2000s, but it's obviously a Shein top, and then they're charging like $60 for it when it was originally like 5.
right.
And I think that's evil. I also think it's evil for Depop to then chart like, they take a cut out of the seller's, like, whatever the seller makes, and then there's also like there is, like, shipping and stuff like that too, which is
Yeah,
yucky, and I think also in a world of, like, Amazon free delivery all the time because you're a Prime member, I think
yeah,
sometimes seeing shipping kind of makes my brain go like, "What? What the fuck?"
yeah.
Um And so I just don't like I do think Depop resellers are bad, but I don't think they're, like, the main problem. I think the main problem are these companies, like thrift companies or even Depop, the company itself, kind of knowing that you're going to blame the, like, Gen Z TikToker wearing Jinko pants, for being annoying at the Goodwill bins and not that they're, like, really overcharging you for virtually the same item.
Is it the responsibility of the sellers to dictate, like, how much can like, essentially, like, who should we like, if we're gonna place blame on
Yeah,
someone,
I don't
should
know.
we place blame on the app and, like, the creators of the app and, like, those administrator, that corporation to, make sure that people are following the rules of, like, "Okay, I don't know, if something's vintage, like, show the tag," and, like,
Yeah.
these things,
No, I do think that's on the seller, and I only know this I tried to do Mercari. No, it wasn't Mercari. I tried to do Poshmark one time 2 years ago, and I got fished, so
Oh,
that didn't last very
no.
long. I was so embarrassed. I didn't have a job, and I really wanted to help my husband, like, financially, but I was in school, so, like, it was really hard to get a job.
Mhm.
Um and I was like, "Oh, I have a lot of clothes, and instead of donating them, I'll just sell them." And then I got theft, and then that dream died
What does
really
that mean?
so
Like
it's like,
you
it's a scammer pretending to be, like, a company or somebody else. So in this
Uh-huh.
case, it was someone was interested in my clothes, and so I accepted their offer because I sold them for really cheap anyway. It was, like, I think, like, $5 for a top that I had or something. Because I could select um, my payment. I don't know if it's like that on Depop. I've never sold on Depop. I don't know. If you do sell on Depop, let me know.
Tell us.
And, um, I accepted it, and then I got an email that had the Poshmark logo, like, it looked really official, It looked super official and it was like, click here to like confirm your like that you want this person to get your order and like start that process. And I did. And then I got a call from my bank being like, hey, did you just try to spend like $1,000 on this really sketchy website? And I was like,
Oh my god.
no. And so then I had to close my card and it was really annoying and really bad. And
Oh
so I
my
don't
god,
do
that's
that anymore.
crazy.
And I don't
Yeah,
even
no,
shop
that's
on
fair.
Poshmark anymore because I just am so nervous about I've never bought anything on Poshmark, but, like, I don't think
Yeah.
but I am very nervous
That's
about it.
crazy that they, like, ask for your, like, information.
No, it wasn't even my information. It was just, like, I clicked on it and they got into my bank account. I don't know
Oh
how.
my god, that's so
It was
scary.
like and it
That's
I even, like,
terrifying.
sent a report to Poshmark because I was like, "Hey, like, this had
Yeah,
your logo on it, like, it looked really official." And they're like,
yeah.
"No, like, we're not responsible for phishing scams, you should know better." So
That's
that's my
crazy. As a reseller, like,
I know,
that's
that's my
wild.
personal and I will say I have been scammed on Depop too. There is because it's through PayPal. I do think if you're going to be a reseller, you probably should do Depop because they have PayPal, so there's, like, a level of security.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of scams on Depop too. I remember when I was, like, 16, I ordered, like, a $12 skirt, and I just never got it, and I, like, messaged the seller, and I was like, "Hey, am I getting" and then, like, eventually, if, like you can, like, put a claim through Depop and, like, you'll get your money back, but it's
Nice.
annoying. It's really
Yeah, no,
annoying.
100%. I've been there for scams, like, there was a s like, for prom, I wanted to get, like, a sticky bra that, like, made my boobs look really nice,
Yes, I know
and
exactly what you're talking about.
never got it. It was so sad.
I was a Wish
Yeah, so I
baby.
I ended up my one of my friends, shout out Denise, had to, like, tape my tits up.
That's hard though. Did she do a good job at least?
She did a great job, they look
You need to come
so
take my
good.
boobs if I move to Canada. I'll have you help me
I
out.
got you. For the day
Professional
that we
boob
go to the
taper.
club, to the club.
But yeah, and, like,
Um,
that's
yeah.
my thoughts on Depop. I think it's evil, and
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
I also think
Mm,
it really hurt my shopping addiction that I'm trying to, like, curb because there is sort of like Nellis and sort of like that, like I think thrifting in general kind of can be addicting because there's this level of, like,
yeah,
hunting to it almost.
yes.
Um, and especially, like, I follow a lot of people online that, like, make thrifting content, and sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, damn, like, they found something really good, like, if I go today, I'll find something really good."
Yeah,
And you end up just spending so much money and you're always going, and I was like, "Okay," like and with Depop, it's the same thing because there's a chance, like, it tells you, like, if there's an item, it'll tell you the price, and then you can send an offer, and they'll say, like, also, like, "For offer sent," or something,
right.
and then it'll also say, "In 3 people's bags," and so the bag is, like, it's in, like, your cart, essentially, and so there's a chance that, like, it could get sold before you can get it, so there's sort of, like it feels like there's, like, an
Like
urgency
an
'cause
auction,
yeah.
yeah, like an auction moment.
Yeah,
Mm,
and that's something I think I struggle with. I'm a very impulsive person with my spending, and that's
mhm,
where I've like, that's something I'm really trying to work on this year is, like, being much less impulsive. Um, and with Depop, it was like I would get, like, anxious because 'cause I'm very much someone, like, when I do spend, I kind of try to, like, force myself to think about it for, like, a couple days
yeah,
and be like, "Oh, do I want this or is it, like, dumb?" But because of that aspect of, like, it could be gone next time I open this app, I should
yeah.
get it just now, and it's just not good. So, that's my thoughts.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. I feel like I almost overcorrect on that because like I will be thinking about something, especially because I have ADHD. So my brain is like kind of always like
Always
everywhere all at
going.
once. Um, so I feel like when I am looking at something and I'm like, "Okay, I want that." I had been thinking about buying jeans for the past, like, 4, 6 months almost. Didn't pull the trigger because 'cause I'm like, "Okay, like, I don't wanna think about it. I have an analysis paralysis. I don't wanna go to the thrift store because I'm gonna spend, like, a million years looking for something that fits, and then nothing ever fits because I, like, have, like, like, big hips, but, like, a smaller
I meant
waist."
to say I
So,
have the
like
same problem.
yeah,
It's
so
hard.
the only pants that ever fit me are, like, True Love or Curve Love jeans from Abercrombie& and Fitch. And literally the only like, jeans that have ever fit me properly. I hope other brands get on top of that because that's
No, yeah.
kryptonite. That is so good. But anyways, I went to the store recently and bought jeans because I'm like, "Okay, this I need at least 1 pair." Um it for me, it's like I take so long to make a decision that it like I end up I don't know, like, it's just like a almost like a waste of time, but the other way around. Like, I spend so much time
Uh,
thinking about, like, "I need this," that it's like I'm wasting my time, whereas, like, if I had gone to the mall, like, a while back, that could have been outside of my mind.
yeah, that's hard. I wish I don't even know how to empathize with that because, like, I just don't have that in my brain. Unfortunately, just like, yeah, I just
We will balance each other
yeah,
out. We will
literally,
be
like,
the center.
I think that would be really good because that's something I'm really working on is, like, because I'm someone, like, if I don't think about it after a while, I'll be like, "Oh, then I guess I didn't really need it," because, like, I'm not thinking about it
Mhm,
actively. And, like, the idea of, like, even being so worried about it because I think I have not been diagnosed, but
mhm.
I think my therapist has been alluding to me that I might have ADHD. She's been giving me vibes, you know what I mean? And she's like, "Yeah, you always fidget a lot when you talk and, like, you go on these rabbit trails all the time." So I would not be surprised. But, um, I think, like, then I forget about it, and then I go, "Oh, okay, then it's not that big of a deal." But I just can't, like, work myself into I can't shop with a deadline. You know, I can't, like,
Yeah,
be worried about
valid.
it, and also, I'm really, like, trying to, like, lower my intake of people that, like, thrift all the time, which is hard because I really like these creators, so that is, like, a little
Yeah,
difficult, like, I genuinely find their content fun and interesting. But I do, like, sense that it makes me go like, "Oh, I should go shopping because these people
yeah,
are going shopping and they found really cool stuff and they're really cool and I wanna be really cool," which circles back
yeah.
to our
To
outsider
the original topic.
question.
Yeah,
Richard,
exactly.
yes, so
I was gonna say, I'm very proud of you for, not deleting it, you will get there, but, for putting it outside of
yeah.
your home screen.
Literally the only reason that, like, I was like, "I'm not deleting it quite yet," is because I have something coming, and I'm very crazy when it comes to, like, tracking my packages, and I think it's because
Uh-huh.
I lived, like, in a very rural area that had a hard time getting packages, that I'm like, "Well, I need to know where this is." And so, like, I, like, have the tracking number on there, and I just check all the time to be like, "Okay, where is the status of this?" But I think once I,
Yeah,
like, get this last thing in, then it'll be gone, and I think that'll be really good for me. I've already
yeah,
deleted, like I'm probably gonna delete eBay. I don't use eBay. I don't have Facebook, so I don't really have a lot of access to Facebook Marketplace.
right.
I don't have I used to
I'm lucky because my Facebook Marketplace, like, nobody here sells good things
that sucks.
or, like,
That's here
sells them
too,
for
though. That's
reasonable
here in
prices,
Arizona.
so
Like, I feel like when I lived in Flagstaff, I could find because that was more like people were
younger
moving
people.
constantly,
Mhm.
but here, like, where I am now, yeah, it's just, like, nothing. I did see a heart-shaped couch one time, and I really tried to convince Micah to buy it, and he was like, "We can't." Like, "That's" and I was like, "No."
Yeah, you don't have anywhere to put it.
I know, but would it be cute? My dream bed is, like, a heart-shaped bed, but then I have to have,
That's
like, Micah
crazy.
sleep there too, and that would be really hard. Ugh, but I want a heart-shaped bed so bad. Yeah. So that's me yeah, I am trying to work on curbing my shopping addiction. I'm even, like, really working on, like, not eating out as much anymore.
Mhm.
Um, or, like, there's a gas station right behind my work, and
Right.
I do often hear the call of, like, Dr. Pepper not Dr. Pepper, ew, sorry, Dr. Pepper fans, I don't like Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper's the best.
I'm so sorry.
It's literally the best soda.
I'm a Diet Coke girl through and through, or Coke Zero,
Mm.
realistically. I'm really gonna work on just not eating out as much. I'm trying to work on eating healthier too, so hopefully that, like, helps by not getting sweet treats all the time and not spending so much money. I think now
Yeah.
would be a really good time to move into our sermon studies. Our sermon studies are when we tell our audience, you guys, things that we've been watching, doing, or like reading, activities, crafts, whatever. So you got Mare.
Okay, my sermon studies is, I guess I'll talk about Interview with a Vampire because I don't think it's, like, talked about enough. I'm not on Tumblr. I feel like it
I
would
was gonna
go
say I
off
disagree.
on
I've never
Tumblr.
seen it, but I do have to disagree. I feel like it's talked about quite a bit, but like we could talk about it more.
Really?
Yeah, at least
Oh,
like
okay,
on my like
maybe I'm
TikTok
just not
feed.
in the same spaces then.
That's valid.
Mm, I feel like I don't know. I like no okay. So my friend worked on season 3 of the show in the art department. Shout out to Carla. She's
That's so
awesome. Carla's
cool.
really cool.
Every time you tell
But
me something
and
about
has a really cool
Carla,
job.
I'm just like, that's like just the coolest person on the
She's
planet.
but yeah, essentially she worked on it. It was like, guys, like to my friend group, "Guys, you need to watch this show. It's really, really good." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, 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 sure, I'll watch
Heard
it."
of it.
And I eventually like sat down and watched it because I'm like, "Okay, I need to be a good friend. Watch the show that she's like a part of, even though she hasn't done like the first two seasons.
Mhm.
She's like not on season three, but had worked on season three."
She's the star.
So I watched it, and genuinely, it had one of the best pilots I've ever seen in a show.
Okay.
Like, it was so good and captivating, and, like, I didn't wanna
Yeah.
stop watching. Like, I wanted to continue watching. It was, like, midnight or something, and I was like, "Okay, well, I need to watch the next episode." And it wasn't, like, a thing it didn't feel like I didn't feel like the need to binge it. I just wanted to know what happened next, but, like, not in, like, a obsessive way. It's just, like, the story is so interesting that it's, like, I'm curious about, like, where the characters are gonna go after this, right? So, I don't know, Interview with a Vampire, highly recommend. In Canada, it's on Crave. I think in the US, it's on HBO
I think it
Max or
is.
something.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend it. It's a very good show. Acting is incredible. Set decorating,
The
incredible.
costuming looks really
Costumes,
good too. Yeah, I was gonna say the costume looks really
crazy.
good. What did
It's
are you
really
allowed to
good.
say what your friend worked on in the show? Like, she was part of the art department?
Um, I think so, yeah. Like, I don't think I can say, like, specific
Yeah,
scenes or
obviously, but,
anything,
like,
but she worked on and she didn't do set decorating, she did, so she's, like, has a background of, like, architecture. She, like, designed some of the rooms that they were in, and, I think, like, in general, like, art pieces
that's
that
so
would not like
cool.
like big art pieces, but, like or maybe there was a big art piece, I'm not sure. But, like, there were, like, art pieces
That's
and,
so cool.
like, rooms that she designed and things like that, so, yeah.
That's so cool,
It's really cool.
honestly.
It's
That's
really
so
cool to be
interesting.
I feel like her job is really sick because it's really cool to be able to be, like, on a show that, like, a lot of people watch.
And be like, "I did that. That's
I
me.
designed that.
That's
Yeah,
me."
I did
Yeah.
that. Like,
No, that's
it's
so
so
fun.
cool.
Like, I've been thinking obviously, I do not have the same job at all, realistically at all, at all, at all. But sometimes I'm like, "Oh," like, because I do renderings for a landscaping company. It's really yeah, basically the same thing as your friend.
Basically the same.
But I was
Yeah,
like,
I see no
"Oh,"
difference.
like, sometimes I look at, like, the stuff that we install versus, like, the stuff that I'm rendering, and I'm like, "Oh, I did that." I didn't do it, but, like, I was like, "Oh,
That's so
I'm part of this
cool.
process that I think is really interesting that's, like, part of a final product that other people see." And
No, I think that's really cool to, like, I don't know, creative people are
yeah,
just so cool because you, like, can see something be executed in real life,
yeah,
and I think that's, like, really unique to, like I don't know, I'm not creative in any
I'm
way,
very
like,
creative.
in the sense of, like
Okay.
not really, like, it's realistically, like, I'll look at a picture on Pinterest and, like, maybe try to recreate it, like, to, like, a very, very terrible, like, degree, but, like, you come up from sorry, you come up with things from
Yeah, that
scratch,
is cool.
and, like,
That's why
it
AI
can
could
become
never
real, like
replace the human touch. That's what
exactly,
Brendan Sanderson said, and we listened to him.
exactly.
He's very smart.
You are the art, baby.
Yeah,
I added the baby. He did not say
he
baby.
should have. That'd been good. Brendan
Okay.
Sanderson, say diva more. What are you doing?
Exactly.
Brendan
Okay,
Sanderson,
what's your
have
sermon study?
Paladin say diva. The city needs
People
you,
would hate
diva.
that. I feel like who would say diva? I feel like Syl would say diva. I feel
Syl
like
would say
Syl would pick
diva.
that up.
I haven't read Syl. What I know about her,
Oh, that's
yeah,
true. That's true,
she
that's
would.
true.
That feels
No, no,
correct.
you need to read it.
I do, I do. I need to, like so I'm reading my husband I guess, yeah, that'll be my sermon study, but no one else can
Okay.
read it, so it's really awkward sermon study, but I wanna share about it. I'm reading my husband's book. My husband is an aspiring writer. I've read one of his books recently. He's working on another one right now. He's not published, so I'm really sorry. He's really working very hard on it. It's very difficult. Yeah. But it's really fun, and, like, I've been reading it today. I'm really bad at reading, because I'm stupid, and
No, you're
I
not.
don't have the attention span for reading, so I have to, like I listen to it through Speechify, and that's really hard because the AI on Speechify, if you don't pay, like, $20 or whatever, is garbage, and so sometimes I have to, like, go back while I'm working and be like, "Wait, what was just said?" Because it was just a bunch of, like, jumbled garbage, but it's really good, and it's a mystery, and it's kind of like Indiana Jones, but, like, fantasy with wizards, and it's really fun, and
Love.
hopefully someday it'll be out and everybody else can read the book, and then this sermon study in the future will make more sense as a sermon study.
Exactly.
This is me
Exactly.
manifesting
It'll
that.
be out. It'll come out one day.
True. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's our pod, guys. We'll
That
see
was
you
really
all next
good. I'm really
week.
glad everybody who's listening is listening. And yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you. All right.